Let's do it.
Hello and welcome to the Every Other Saturday podcast for episode 43 of our podcast journey here on Spotify and YouTube. A bit of a different one today. We've had to incorporate whatever Rangers content that we could come up with. And for the Rangers content for this episode, it's going to be who leaves the club in the summer for the current squad. Now we're a season removed for the league ending. Who leaves the squad in the summer? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the Scotland squad. It was a big announcement last week. Give our thoughts and opinions on that one. And then we'll give our English Premier League team of the season. Both avid fans of the English Premier League as much as we are the Scottish. I'm a Liverpool man. Lewis over here is a Leeds man. So we'll talk about our opinions, who fits in that team after the season ended that last weekend there as well. So if you like this podcast, as always, you listen on Spotify, share it about. And if you listen on YouTube, like, share, subscribe and all that jazz. So to start off, you've actually got a story. You've met or you've seen somebody when you're out. He's not told me anything about this, so let's hear it. Bring it into the podcast.
No worries, I will do. I was just out doing the local, in a food shop, and I was getting a wee rolling betting at the Marks and Spencers, and I have a seat, and when you look over and you're like, you just look over. I look over and I see the man who manages the best team in Scotland. Couldn't quite believe it myself when I seen Mr. Kennedy just sitting there. That was a weird way to start my day. Aye, mate, I couldn't believe that. So it was a weird way to start my morning, man. But I just looked over and was like,
Marks and Spencers.
It's pretty weird this one. Aye.
That's weird. That is really weird.
It's weird. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just sitting there and I look over and I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's him.
Did he have best team in Scotland tattooed on his forehead?
No, mate, he'd be sitting there having a wee latte or something. But aye, it was just quite weird to see him there. He's quite tall, mate. He's quite proper. Was he a centre half or something when he played football? Aye.
Honestly, I don't know. But
but that was a weird,
unexpected
day, mate.
Definitely. Interesting way to start the episode. Do you think he's picking his next move? Is he staying? What do you think?
I don't know, mate. I was trying to listen to what he was talking about. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe he was talking about who's coming in or what have you, but I couldn't hear him because there was a woman yapping away. Do you know what I mean? So, mate, it was weird to start your day off seeing Mr. Kennedy there.
Mr. Kennedy.
I was looking for him to turn around. I was looking to turn around and just see the mic drop and him just go, but didn't get any of that. So it is what it is.
In a dream world, that would happen. But interesting way to start your day. Interesting way to start the episode. Nice wee story. You kick us off. So getting on to the actual best team in Scotland now. We'll talk about who leaves Rangers in the summer. Big sort of question marks now with the season done. Like maybe bringing players in who goes out. We've seen plenty of players go out on loan. Jones, Edmondson, Zungu's obviously packed his bags. He's away back to France, and a few others out on loan. Bird Jonas and players like that. Barker. So, who do you think leaves the squad in the summer? Like, obviously, I'm listing players that were out on loan already that are most likely going to be sent on their way. But apart from them, apart from your Barkers and stuff like that, who do you feel for the current squad, maybe season out on loan, or is going to be sold?
I mean, if the bids come in, the money comes in, it's the right amount of money, and it makes sense. Then I'll always Barisic. I don't care. I'll always say if the right money comes in for Barisic, I'd let him go. There's a couple for me I wouldn't let go. We already know those couple. But I don't know. I seen apparently Galatasaray want Joe Aribo. It's not happening. I'm sorry. I couldn't see. Do you know what I mean? I can't see that one. Hadji maybe is another one. I'd like to keep him for a couple of seasons, but if the right bid comes in and it makes sense, then I don't know, mate. What about yourself? For me, if a right offer comes in for Barisic, man, I'd let him go.
I feel that the important thing for this summer is really, although we've got the season right last season maybe got the right numbers in, a lot of depth and all that. I think Defoe, I don't think he's going to get another year. Sadly, I would love to see him stay at the club, but I just don't feel that it's going to happen. He showed his quality over the past few games there. In the Celtic game, Aberdeen game, comes on, gets a goal. I'd like to keep him for that respect. I'd like to keep him maybe even in some sort of capacity, coaching and stuff like that. I'd love to keep the guy around. He just seems like such a great guy. So I'd like to keep him, but I feel that he's going to go. Maybe hang up the boots, I don't know. But Defoe, I think maybe Cedric Eaton, by the way. That's one that's came to my attention, maybe out in loan or something like that. Because although I'm a big fan of him, and so yourself, like, he's been starved of sort of opportunity every time he's played. You're trying, you're begging, you're hoping he does something, gets a goal or something like that. But maybe to get him more game time, maybe he'll look at another option loan or something like that. Arfield, maybe I don't know how many years are left on that contract he's gone, but sort of in and out after his injuries and stuff like that. He's a player we need about. He's a utility man. You can always rely on him, I guess, but should we be looking for more to try and improve, get rid of these kind of players? Although Arfield's been a great servant to Rangers, do you think it's maybe time for him to move on?
It's an interesting one, Arfield. I would say, I know I've been joking that he should enjoy the end of the season, sort of after his injury, that he should enjoy it because he'll be back at full cut. But I still think I don't know, man. That one, it's just with Defoe, man. That's, as I say, I'm the same. I kind of like to see Defoe if he can't play, maybe in a coaching role. But in terms of Arfield, I could see that, mate. I could see it. At the end of the day, you want to bring in a bit players like Hadji and your Kamaras and your Joes, but at the same time, I think you do need players like Devo and Arfield there to just remind them what it means to play for the club and have those older heads to lead the young boys. In terms of Cedric, I could see him going. I think when he signed, it was obviously Kemar was the main one to get in, but he was just there just in case anything happened. So me and you have both, do you know what I mean? I think it's not been the best for him. Obviously, he's not had many opportunities, but when he's got them, I think he's done all right. So a loan move could be beneficial for him. I still going to call him Landlord de Motherwell because he is, mate. I just don't every time he played them. But I would agree that he should go out on loan. As you're saying, like your Barkers and all that need to go. Simply Greggy Stewart's going to have to go, which is take my eye, but is what it is. Aye.
Aye, as you're saying, Barker, Jones is another one. Like he's in that sort of Cedric Eaton bracket before he done all the stuff he's done. That, like, you wanted to see him succeed so much because you can see the guys get talent. You can see he would offer a lot to the club, but he just doesn't seem he's got his head screwed on to play for Rangers. I think it's finally time to bite the bullet with Jordan Jones and just let him go. Edmondson maybe. He saved Derby in that for going down the Championship, but is he really what we need going forward? I feel like the centre backs we've got, Golson, Hollander, priority to keep they two. It's massive we keep they two. Simpson and Katic obviously coming back in. He's doing a lot of work. I see on his Instagram and that to get back in that squad. So I love seeing that.
I'm telling you right now, Katic is I think he's going to have a big season next season, man. You can see the hard work he is putting in if you follow him on Instagram, man. In terms with Jones, I can't see Jones getting back into the team now that Scotty Wright's there for me. I just think he's done him out of that position. I can't see him getting back in it. I just think it's time to let these kind of players go, you know what I mean? I think their level is League One, Sunderland, that kind of level, to be honest with you. Just seeing a great player, Jones, and it's a shame he didn't have his head screwed on. It's not just what happened to him, obviously, with Indistant during the pandemic and that. Even before then, it seemed like his attitude wasn't right for playing for the club, mate. So for me, there's those kind of, I don't want to call them deadweight players or what have you, but the players that are taking up a lot of money at the club for me, some of them need to go. But Simpson's another one. I don't want to be too hanging on him straight away, but I don't know if he's got. I don't know, man. You've got competition like Nico Katic, as I say, the work he's putting in. You've got Big Hollander, who I've seen rumours with like Premiership clubs like Aston Villa or something wanting, Big Hollander. But I don't know. I think it's just going to be a race to see who's Connor Wilson's partner really next season.
I mean, you've got Balogun still there as well. Like, might have been forgotten a bit due to him being injured and stuff like that. You've got 5 really top centre backs there, plus Edmondson still with the club. We're fine in the centre back areas. All fingers crossed, all of them still at the club or make the moves they need to make. But Edmondson maybe just short of the level required. Simpson, I feel like he can get there. I feel came into the season, obviously the league was winning that, but getting that over the line was for the unbeaten stuff was big for him. Next to Goldson, he looked good, but he's just maybe got that error in him. But Goldson had that error like 2 seasons ago.
Exactly.
It can happen, it can change. So I believe with Gerrard's coaching and everybody else at the club will be able to see the best of Simpson, because I feel like we're just getting started with him. He's always going to be a bit nerve-wracking point for Rangers the first time. And the other one I thought about there was Patterson. What happens to Patterson? Because he's obviously too good to sit on the bench. Does he go to left back? Obviously Tavernier's going to start at right back. Like, you want Patterson in the team either way, or do you want to get him more experience and get him out on loan? Because there's no way that guy's going to sit there after getting a Scotland call up and playing at the Euros and stuff like that he's not going to sit on the bench. So he's obviously going to want to be at Rangers. How does he force his way into Gerrard's plans if he's got Tavernier there? That's such an annoying position, because you can't drop him.
No, and I don't think you can send him out on loan. For me, it's the same as sort of Billy Gilmore and Phil Foden. I'm not comparing them to those players, but their situation in terms of although they might go out on loan, they're too good to go out on loan for me. Patterson is too good to send him away out on loan. That's why I'm saying, if you sell Barisic for the right price, put him out on the left for me. I know Tav wants to go fourth a bit, but I don't know if I can't see that happening. I don't think Gerrard would want that, to be honest with you, with that new boy coming in for Belgium. Probably a couple more additions coming in as well. So I think for me, it's either just put him at left back, sell Barisic, put Patterson at left back for me. I just think that's the way to go, mate. I don't know about yourself there, but for me, that's what I would do.
Bold statement. I like the way you're sort of working it. If Barisic does go, he goes with everybody's best wishes. Of course, he's been a great servant for us over the past couple of years. But I think he's the one. If you ask anybody who leaves Rangers in the summer, they'll say Barisic. Maybe he does stay, and I mean he plays out in the next few years here. Then he moves on. I don't know, but it's just because he's at that age where we could really get a good fee for him. Maybe it'd be the best option to move him on. And as you say, you've got Patterson there that you could maybe do something with. And then you've got
he's going to be
top-class fullbacks.
He's part of the thing that I'm saying with Barisic as well. Croatia are in the same group as Scotland and England, and you know that if he has a good tournament with Croatia, a lot of Premiership clubs might be already looking at him, so that might just push it forth a bit, or even around Europe and that. So I don't know, it just makes sense. As I say, all the best wishes to him. He's been a fantastic player for the club. Although I will always criticise him defensively, but going forth, just a sensation, and even free kicks and everything, man, just top dollar, top player. But just defensively, I say, but that's about it for me, mate, with Barisic.
And then moving away for defence, obviously we've talked about Joe Aribo subject to a bid for Galatasaray and stuff like that. It was 3 million. That wouldn't even buy one of his legs. that's rubbish. That you've got Hadji, you've got Jack, Wright. Who else have we got? Sakala coming in. I'm really excited to see how he performs. Morelos, it's always going to be up for debate. Does he stay? Does he go? Ryan Kent, maybe one of the 2 most important players in our team. Kent, for me, is somebody that you just need to tie down a contract. Just he can't go anywhere. Like, he's too good. Like, we can't let him go.
No, we can't let him off. Or Morelos go for me. I think I seen somewhere that they were that the 2 of them want to stay for another year because of Champions League football. But for me, Kent, you have to tie him down. You have to do whatever you have to do. Offer the guy whatever you have to offer him for him to stay at the club, because he's just too important. Alfredo is the exact same. I do think that out of the 2 of them, if you were going to lose one of them, it's more likely Alfredo than Kent, because Ryan Kent is just, for me, it's the same with Tav, Goldson, McGregor. Like, you know, even Alfredo is and all, but I just think if you were to lose one of the 2 of them, it would probably be Alfredo. You would be more likely to let Alfredo go than you would Kent. Don't want to lose any of the 2 of them, but just need to watch, and just that Leeds can stay away if they can, because we've got Champions League football, Jack, hopefully. So
how's that happening? Like,
well, listen, I don't know. I'm just seeing that Leeds are interested in Ryan Kent, mate. I don't want any of that to happen, to be honest with you.
No.
I kind of just want Ryan Kent to stay up here.
I hope so.
And get a couple more trophies and enjoy European nights up here, mate. That's the main thing for me.
100%.
But if he's not available, Jack, I know someone who is available. I'll go and grab him. No, I'm only joking. No, but I won't bring my card back.
Of course, obviously. The running joke in the podcast and that, but Kent vital, Morelos vital to stay for another year. I feel like they're both happy enough to stay on for another season, get that success with Rangers again, hopefully next year, experience the Champions League, and then you could maybe say, right, you're at that age, you're both going to be 25 years old, you're just going to be heading into your prime if you go and play for another club, and we could get a great amount of money. It's all about, I feel, for clubs these days, it's like getting that replacement in maybe a season before they go to get them in, and then it maybe won't be so harsh to let them go if you've already got a ready-made replacement there. I don't know if Sakala is going to be that guy or whoever else we might bring in the summer, but it's going to be an interesting one anyway. I thought we'd start the podcast off with that. We could talk about this all day with our thoughts.
Just talking on Morelos, those pictures, by the way, can we just talk about them for a minute?
No.
My man
it just looks dapper.
On point, Mr. Bond.
And then even
guy,
Steven Gerrard putting it up on his own Instagram page as well. He just loves us as much as we do. But as I said, that's it for the Rangers part of the episode. So we'll go into the Scotland squad now. The Scotland squad was announced last Wednesday at 12 o'clock. There was a lot of names I was looking to see in that: Patterson, Gilmore, Turnbull, all in it. Happy with that. And I'll run through the full squad and we'll give our thoughts on it. So your three goalkeepers: Gordon, Marshall, McLaughlin. Defenders are Hanley, O'Donnell, Patterson, Hendry, Cooper, McKenna, Gallagher, Robertson, Taylor and Tierney. Midfielders are Armstrong, Christie, Fleck, Forrest, Fraser, Gilmore, McGinn, McGregor, McTominay, Turnbull, and your strikers are Adams, Nisbet and Lyndon Dykes. So what is your thoughts just off the top of your head right now when you've seen the Scotland squad?
I was surprised, mate, to be honest with you. He's put the three that everyone wants in. Bit like Gareth Southgate, in that Gareth's obsessed with right backs. Steve Clark seems to be obsessed with left backs. I don't know why Greg Taylor is there, to be honest. What's he done to be there? That boy for Hibs probably more likely is in his place in the team more than Greg Taylor. But no, I'm happy with the squad. I'm just happy that Oliver McBurney's not in the squad, man. I couldn't watch him play. International summer, proper football for Scotland, I couldn't watch him play, to be honest with you. And I'm happy with the three up front. I think we've got a chance with Adams. I think he'll be fantastic. Patterson, I think what he needs is something to happen to O'Donnell in training. Maybe somebody go a bit harsh on him, break his leg or something, so Patterson can play. That would be sensational for me. Gilmore, Turnbull, like your McGinns and all that in the middle of the park, that is just fantastic. The talent we are producing in the middle of the park, man, is sensational, mate.
Aye, I can agree with the O'Donnell fact. I think it's stupid that he's in this squad. I know people say, right, he got us to the tournament, let's play him in it. But if you're looking to actually do something in the tournament, you don't play Stephen O'Donnell, I'm afraid. Like, he's gash. He's gash, in my opinion. And I'm not just saying that because Rangers podcast Patterson, Patterson is a really promising player. If you want to do anything, it's clear to me. We've played him in Europe, we've played him in Old Firm games and that. Play him to get anywhere. Then I mean, the central defensive sort of area is where Scotland fall apart, in my opinion, because you look at who they've got available. Grant Hanley's just like what? Jack Hendry, Liam Cooper, obviously a man you'll know very well. Scott McKenna and Gallagher. And Tierney, I believe, is going to play as a centre half as well. So a bit thin on the quality at centre half, in my opinion. What do you think about
that? What I would say about that, Jack, is there's someone I've got right here who can play centre half if Steve Clark need. No, I'm the same with you. Defensively, not the best. Cooper's like, obviously I watch Cooper. I know he's got a mistake in him, but hopefully he'll be all right. International wise, I think he's got a lot of stick. It's the same with anyone when they sort of kind of first thing I remember Cooper getting a lot of stick when he first came in the national side. But like I say, Grant Hanley and all that, I don't know why. I mean, you want to talk about things and all. Let's talk about goalkeeper. What are we actually going to do at a tournament with Davy Marshall in goal, who's playing for a team that should be relegated in Derby County? McLaughlin's just won the league. He should be in the net for me. I don't see what the big thing here is.
Even
I
Craig
really don't.
Gordon's a
David
better
Marshall,
goalkeeper than David Marshall for me. Craig Gordon's always established himself as a good keeper. He get promoted with Hearts as well. So you've got two people who've won leagues, and you're going to play the guy that nearly get relegated. To me, it doesn't make sense either. And I personally prefer Gordon over. I think McLaughlin's a great keeper, but in terms of Scotland, I think Gordon would be the man. And then you look at, as I said, the defence a bit thin. The midfield, great quality in it though. Armstrong, great player. Forrest, although we slag him this season and everything like that, he's a good guy to have in your team. He can provide a goal threat for anywhere. Ryan Fraser, I thought he was injured. It was weird to see him in there. He done all right for Scotland, right enough. McGinn, who's just what a player he is. McTominay, great player. McGregor's had a poor season. Ryan Christie is the one for me. I'm like looking at him like, why? Just going off merit because he scored the goal. He's had such a poor season. He shouldn't be anywhere near it for me.
But that's what I'm on about, though. You sort of have to take the fact that what they have done for the country in terms of getting the country to the tournament. So that's why he's obviously taking them. I know people were going on about Ryan Hingme out in Portugal, about how's he not in the team. Steve Clark saying he couldn't fly to Portugal to watch him. And then he's on about TVs, mate. He's got a telly. Go to YouTube or something, go and watch highlights. He's like everyone else that's raving about him. But no, I can see where you're going with some of the players. I just think you've got to play the ones that are in the Premiership for me. You have to, like your Armstrongs and Scotty Tuhati. Like you've got to play all them. I know Forrest and that'll probably get a game. He has to go for it in this tournament for me. The one game you have to just go full on it for me is the England game. You need to play with that shirt for that full 90 minutes for me, man. We beat them, I'm happy. That's what I keep saying with this tournament. Just beat England and I'll be happy. That's it for me.
Like show a good account of yourselves. Obviously, it's been so long since first time in our lifetime that we've even been able to speak about this happening. Exactly. So you're going to see a good performance for your country. Like, it's as simple as that. Like, you're wanting to go for it. I know Steve Clark isn't that manager that he's going to play attacking football. He's going to sit back and he's going to try and grind out wins. Hopefully, whatever happens, and we do beat England. Seen their squad today, it looks pretty frightening for the provisional one. Anyway, 33 players. I mean, it's a stacked squad for me. The England one, but
I'm just gonna come in here, Jack, because a man like Gareth Southgate is a bottle job. How do you not put Patrick Bamford in that team?
I knew it was
Other than
coming.
Harry Kane, he's England's top goal scorer. What is he doing there? Are you putting Ollie Watkins in? Why? He's not good. It annoys me, mate. It just frustrates me.
I'll give you my opinion on it. I rate Bamford highly. He's proven himself this season to be a top Premier League striker.
Boom.
So how many goals did he get? 16, 17 in the Premier League this year?
17.
I mean, that's
17,
a great return.
More.
But looking at England's strikers, right, this is how I would take it. I would have Harry Kane, obviously, just your main striker. I would have Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And personally, he wasn't even in it. He wasn't announced. Danny Ings would be there for me. I feel Danny Ings has been robbed.
Injury prone. But Danny Ings has been robbed.
Danny Ings has been robbed.
Injury prone. Why is he going to take him? He's not.
Guy knows where the goal is. Guy knows where the goal is. I know he knows
where the goal is, but he's injury prone is mincemeat. Come on, it's got to be Bamford, man. But
I respect what you're saying, Bamford and all that. Like, he's had a great season.
Don't go with the flashy stuff. Don't be doing what the thing we've done, right? See if you were taking a proper squad. Connor Goldson would be there, James Tavernier would be there, and all. If you're taking a proper squad, let's be honest, they two would be there for me and all. Maybe Ryan Kent as well. Do you know what I mean?
Don't get me wrong. Looking at the centre half positions, like it's bare. Like, to be honest, Mings, Cody, Godfrey, Maguire, Stones. Like, you look at how bare that is, and then your other ones that didn't get caught up, like Konsa and who else? Tarkovsky and Fikayo Tomori. Like, you've got players. I feel like Tomori could be in it, but Goldson, he's not even getting looked at, which is a shame for me because he's been outstanding for the club this season. But it is what it is. He's never going to look at him until he goes to the Premiership.
So I will. Let's just get back onto this here, right? So what's your point here with Bamford? My man's been robbed. What are you? What's the point here?
Just I don't feel like he's going to. If you're
doubting
wanting
him?
to, I am personally right now. I'm doubting him. Like I doubted him at the start of the season.
After that season, you're doubting him. After that
Um,
season where he was laughed at, he's been laughed at for majority of his career. You know what I mean? You're doubting the man for that season.
I've gained a lot of respect for him.
Come
Don't get me
on,
wrong.
he's
Like
proved everyone wrong.
aye, like
You know
he's
what I
proved
mean?
me wrong. I didn't
He's
think he
made
could
you all
lead.
eat your words.
I didn't think he could lead Leeds to how good they've been, but he surprised me with that. I just don't feel like he's. Look at the strikers England have got available. I don't think he's any better than your Ollie Watkins, Calvert-Lewin, Kane. I don't think he's near there yet. Another season he does it, he'll be in there. Don't worry. But
another season. Well, I'll tell you right now, Jack. You're talking bogus. You're talking mince. All right. I mean, I respect those strikers that you've named off, right? But to me, they're just camera strikers, right? They're just flashy camera strikers. You're hanging off there. Bamford has had a phenomenal season. Been doubted. It was even when he signed for the club, I doubted him. I thought, why are we wasting money on Bamford? Comes in, Marcelo Bielsa knows what he's doing. He picks players, mate, and he gives them life, man. He believes in them, something that they need. He believes in them, and they go forth and they achieve it. 17th goals in the Premier League. I think it's like 7 assists. Should have had more. VAR's robbed him. A couple of chances he should be burying. There are chances at Bamford. For me, if MDL starts slotting that in the net, I know that, but you stick with him, you trust him. But I don't know, man. It doesn't matter because he's no Scottish, and if he was Scottish, he might have been in the team. I think he can play for Ireland. I don't know. I think he's like half hitting me, but I just think it's just ridiculous, man. To be honest with you, I mean, Southgate was his job after the tournament. I think it'd be fantastic. Probably Frank Lampard will get it.
Aye, maybe you'll be right with that because Southgate is a yes man and he's going to take a team of right backs anyway. But I respect your opinion with Bamford. I know you've watched Leeds all season more than me, but
well, that's another thing I'm going to hang me here and all people moaning about Wan-Bissaka or something not being the team. He's not better than Reece James and he's not better than Trent Alexander. I'll say that right now. Kieran Trippier has had a fantastic season for Atletico Madrid. So key to that team. But I don't think you're putting Wan-Bissaka in there before Trent Alexander and Reece James for me, man.
See, the argument with Wan-Bissaka is that he's a good right back. He's maybe one of the best right backs in the world, like one-on-one with a attacking player. But I just don't feel he's, as you say, I don't think he's better than Reece James overall. I don't think he's better than Trent overall. He's good from a defensive standpoint. He just doesn't do enough for me going forward. But your three right backs are maybe going to be Kyle Walker, Trent, James, or maybe Walker goes as a centre half. I don't know. And Trippier goes.
How good of a footballer Trent Alexander is for me is that he could play any position on that park. The guy is just. So I've been critical of him. I just don't think he's good, as you're saying, defensively. You know what I mean? I don't think he's good at all. But I think just going forth, what a joy to watch. The same as Barisic, as I say, like. Just they're fantastic going forth, but I just think the defensive side of the game, I don't think they're any good at all. That's where I agree with you with Wan-Bissaka probably does, but we're talking about Scotland squad here and we're getting about the England squad, but
I know.
That's
well, as this episode is leading up to, let's do our English team of the season. We've covered England and Scotland's teams. I'm buzzing for the game, to be honest, at Wembley and in the Euros, so we'll look forward to it. But for now, EPL team of the season. Well, I've went for a 4-3-3 as I've always done. I've got a few honourable mentions to talk about at the end as well. But we'll start off then. In goals, I have went with Emiliano Martinez from Aston Villa. Key to what they've been all season. Great signing for Arsenal. 15 clean sheets is great for Aston Villa. And Aston Villa have came on leaps and bounds since just staying up last season. Grealish, I mean, what a football player he is. Concert at the back. They've built a really good squad. And Emiliano Martinez for me in goals.
I mean, what a bargain for Aston Villa, mate. Let's just say that. Arsenal are absolute idiots for letting that goalkeeper go, to be honest with you. It was definitely between him or my main man. Bit of a Frenchman, young guy, who will be a big name for the French football team going forward. And I went for Melee, mate. I just think you can't not put him in there. He's just been sensational, as I say. 21 in the Premier League. That is just phenomenal. He finished in the top half. You know what I mean? Like fantastic. But you could make a case, I think, for both keepers in terms of that. I wouldn't say Kasper Schmeichel because he cost his team Champions League football on the last day for me. I don't know what he was doing in that one. I know the Harry Kane thing was a bit of a handball, but still, Schmeichel cost his team that game. But I would say you could pick any of the two of them, to be honest with you. I think people would mostly go with Edison, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, Ederson's a good shout as well for City, but I feel that Meslier, I was expecting you were going to put him. We talked about him a few weeks ago when we reviewed our signings and that. I had a feeling you were going to stick him in, but I'd say good choices. Definitely improved Leeds for a goalkeeping point of view anyway. And Martinez, the exact same, both had good seasons. Hopefully more for them. Now at right back, I struggled to pick a right back, to be honest. I was going to go with who was I going to go with? I can't even remember. But I've went with Cancelo anyway at Man City. Came on again this season. Improved a lot at right back. He's played at left back as well, but he's had an overall good season. He stood out in the Man City side for me. And I finally shown his worth for his transfer now, Cancelo. So he's my right back.
Well, I'm happy to see you've went for Cancelo. Good right back. He has indeed, mate. But I've went for my man. It's got to be Luke Ayling. Just what a season!
Don't tell me this is a full Leeds team.
You want to talk about? It's not a full Leeds team, all right. But Luke Ayling has been fantastic throughout the entire of the season. He's ran ragged through the park. He's been solid. Even going fourth man, whipping the ball in. For me, Luke Ayling's a top player. He's one of them that doesn't get recognised. Probably should be looking at an England call-up as well, maybe for Luke Ayling and Tavernier. I would say both deserve it. Do you know what I mean? But we go on players that are in your FIFAs, and everyone looks at on FIFA. So for me, but anyway, Luke Ayling's just been fantastic all season, mate. But let's get into the centre halves, mate.
Aye, Ayling. I'd actually say it's a decent shout. I've heard a lot about him this season. Improved a lot. And played really well over the season. I've seen him the 2 times he played against Liverpool, and maybe a handful of other times, but he's looked decent every time I've seen him. And it's a good journey for him to where he is right now, Luke Ayling. So that's the right back. Then centre back, first one, Ruben Diaz. I don't think it's really up for debate at all. Best centre back probably in the country and the world at the moment for me. What a signing for Man City! Just exactly the piece they needed to become what they are now.
No, I did have him, as I said, signing in the summer. And I mean, the guy's delivered, and hopefully he does the business at the weekend and picks up the Champions League trophy. What a remarkable first season that would be for him at City. But no arguments here, mate, for him to be in the team of the season.
So you've got him as well, aye?
Oh, aye, I've got him as well. Don't you worry, aye.
Right, so Ruben Diaz, and we agree. Good signing. You called that one all the way back, so nice pick up. Centre half for the second one. Was tempted to go with Nat Phillips at Liverpool, just how good he's been, but he obviously hasn't been there for the full season. I've not went for him. Who else was on my mind? I can't remember, but I've went with Wesley Fofana, another one who you predicted at the start of the season. He's had a breakout season at Leicester. It's just another great bit of business. Looks to be an absolute great player. French call-up probably looming in the not-too-distant future. So, great pick-up. Maybe struggle to keep a hold of him in the summer, to be honest with you. I like the look of him a lot. Bright future ahead for him. And a great debut season in the Premier League for Fofana.
Absolutely fantastic. He's made it in my team as well, mate. Both players that I did say watch out for. Leicester are going to do it again with the boy that's just won the league. I forgot his name. Sort of plays in the same sort of roles Kante, mate, and he's a great player. Name slipped my head, apologies, but no, I went for him as well. Fofana, he did get called up for I think it was the under 21s, I'm not too sure, but because he came off injured with Leicester, I think he's going to miss that, which is a shame, but what a season he's had. But I think we should just go into left backs, mate, and if you want, I'll kick it off first.
I mean, well, we agree in the centre half, so that was pretty easy done. Right, on you go then, go for your left back.
I'm going to go for Luke Shaw, just another player that's been abused and wrote off at Man United. The amount of times Jose Mourinho would slag him. And it's amazing what happens when Mourinho leaves and a player can actually play his game and get his head down and focus on his work. I mean, Luke Shaw's been sensational season for Manchester United. I think he's lost a bit of timber as well, which is always good. I always support him there, it goes his way. That's the main thing. No, but he's just been fantastic all season, Luke Shaw, for me.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. He is my left back as well. Some turnaround for Luke Shaw. He's been there for about 7-8 years at Man United. Hard to believe. And this is really the first time I've seen what Luke Shaw can actually do. He's obviously had to overcome a lot of critics, a lot of abuse, managers and stuff no picking him. Even this season, Alex Telles was bought to compete with him for left back. And I thought, right, Alex Telles walks into that team. But Luke Shaw is shown to everybody how good a player he's going to be. He's a starting left back now for England, most surely, as well. And I like to see a guy overcome Everton and just show what he actually is about. Great left back, great season for Luke Shaw. I don't think there's any questions about that. So into midfielders, 3 midfielders for me. First one, Ilkay Gundogan for Man City. He's been unbelievable this season. The goals he's produced, just showing what kind of player he is. I remember watching him all the years back for Klopp's Dortmund, and even at a young age then, I was like, this guy's a player. Goes to Man City. He's maybe been under the radar for a few years. Like, always there and about, maybe injury prone a bit, but this season he's just been unreal. What is it, about nearly 15 goals for midfield for Gundogan this year. Unbelievable season. Definitely one has to be in there for me, so that's my first one.
No, I'm the same, mate. I've put him in, just as you say, that Klopp Dortmund team was fantastic. There was a couple of gems in it. I remember watching the Champions League final with yourself and Zach. And ironic, we were the only two going for Dortmund then. But no, I just think he's what a bargain he was, to be honest with you. I can't remember how much Man City signed him for. I think it was a
probably
fairly decent fee. So no, it's not something like that, but it was a good signing. I think it was Pep's first signing. So smart signing, and what a player he has been this season. He had a great personal season for him, as you say, injury prone a bit, it seemed like, but he's turned it around, mate. Had a good season, and as I say, hopefully he can get the Champions League at the weekend.
Yeah, and Ilkay Gundogan, a favourite for mine for a long years anyway. My next one then is Kevin De Bruyne. Arguably one of the best players in the world, shown time and time again how good he is with a ball at his feet. He could just pick a pass for anywhere. He's got the shot for distance. He's just the complete sort of centre attacking midfielder, and he's a joy to watch. And he's won himself in our Premier League with Man City. As we say, could be a Champions League as well at the weekend. So interesting to see how that one goes. But De Bruyne, I don't feel, for me anyway, there's no debate in that one. He's been sensational this season.
I would say everything that you've just described Kevin De Bruyne to be, this player is in Morsum for me. He hasn't won the Premiership, but Stewie Dallas for me has had a fantastic season and he deserves to be in there. He scored the winning goal. He beat Manchester as well. He scored many goals this season, but he scored that goal. He beat Man City in a fantastic moment for the season. So. No, definitely for me, Stewie Dallas has to be in there. Obviously, we put Kevin De Bruyne in there. Do you know what I mean? What a football player Kevin De Bruyne is. But I just thought I'd mix it up a bit, mate, and I'd put Stewie Dallas in there.
No, fair enough. I've been impressed with Stuart Dallas every time I've watched him. That Man City game, no different. And it's just reiterates the point that everybody loves Leeds and Bielsa for, is the fact that would Stuart Dallas be a Premier League player at any other club than Leeds? I don't know. He's just so good. He's just so good for Leeds.
Absolutely not, mate.
It's amazing to see how players like Luke Ayling and Dallas are such a in your team. Obviously, you're a Leeds fan, so you're going to watch more of them, but they're in your team and they're that good. It just shows how good Leeds have been this year.
But that's what I'm on about, mate. They two would be nowhere near the Premiership, as I say, if it wasn't for Marcel Bielsa, and that's what I'm on about. It's the same with Bamford. He takes players that nobody believes in, and he believes in them, and he backs them, and he plays them in a beautiful style of just total football. Obviously, as I say, you could probably put Kevin De Bruyne in there. Kevin De Bruyne probably is in there. As I say, one of my favourite footballers. I mean, the guy just, how can you not love watching Kevin De Bruyne play football? But I just thought, I'll mix it up a bit. I know I'm a Leeds guy, but I thought Stewie Dallas does deserve to be in there. I thought I'd put the two in there, especially for just the work rate for players that are coming up for the Championship, to be getting proper players who are in it full time. Premiership are no danger of getting relegated. They've come up and they've put the work in, man.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, they're in there. The next midfielder for me, Jack, sorry to keep going on, but is Bruno Fernandez. I put Bruno Fernandez in there. I thought Fernandez is just, I mean, he's a player Man United needed in it. So I don't know if there's anything more I can say about him. I mean, his goal against Everton at Old Trafford, what a goal that was. But I thought he's got to be in there for me anyway.
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head. I'm still, it's literally on the paper / Bruno Fernandez / somebody else who I'll talk about, but he's been great this season. People call him a pen merchant, but you still have to put them away, and he's an expert at doing that. Wins Man United loads of points this year. Maybe dropped off to the end of the season, but he's been great. Even for when he joined the club last winter window, and then pandemic stuff like that, and he took on his form to a whole new level. And he's literally what Man United's built around now. But he's in there, but he's Mason Mount's the other one for me. I'm tempted to put Mount or Fernandez in. I think Mount this season is only his second season for Chelsea as well in the Premier League. He was at Derby with Lampard, obviously, a couple of years ago. Up last year, Chelsea maybe had with Frank. Chelsea had maybe a tough time with no signings and that, but I thought maybe with Chelsea get all their players, Havertz and all that, does Mount even get in this team? But Mason Mount's literally undroppable. He's shown his qualities this year. He's got them in a Champions League final, and he looks to be the next age England midfielders, and I'm here for it because Mason Mount's a cracking player. I enjoy watching him, and personally, I want to see Chelsea win the Champions League at the weekend. So, Mason Mount's in there, but it's hard to not take Fernandez. So I'll go with Mount since you've got Fernandez, but that's the midfield then. So front three, in right, I've went with Mohamed Salah. Still underrated to me. As I watched Liverpool for years and years, Salah's provided, obviously that first season he was unbelievable. Still scores about 20, 25 goals a season, and I still don't feel like he gets the recognition he deserves. Anytime he gets the ball in the right place, a goal. And again this year, he was just one off Harry Kane's Golden Boot. So just shows you how good Salah's been in an underperforming Liverpool team. Good form towards the end of the season to get into third, which is bonkers to me. I never thought that would happen, but Mohamed Salah for me at right.
And I honestly couldn't argue that, mate, to be honest with you. Honestly, when you're even talking about Mason Mount as well, I agree. Just what a footballer. Fantastic player. But for me, I've got to go with Mo Salah as well, mate. I just think he's just saying, and underrated still. I don't know how he is, but underrated still. Liverpool's worst season under Klopp, and he's still close to the Golden Boot, still top goal scorer. As I've said to you all the time, you're looking at that front three and you think to yourself, who's the first to leave? I know some people might say Salah, but I honestly think get rid of Mane. See if you're going to get rid of anyone, he's not as important as Mo Salah is. Look at the business Mo Salah does for that football club, man, is ridiculous. Obviously you're a Liverpool fan, you can comment on what I've just said there, mate. But for me, I just think Salah is more important than Mane. 100%.
I agree. And this season's emphasised that point. Obviously, Mane scored the 2 goals to get us in the Champions League, but overall, Salah's done it all year. Mane's really underperformed this year. He's looked nothing like himself. When he joined Liverpool in 2016, I think it was, he set it alight, and he has ever since. But for whatever reason, what happened to Liverpool this season, this was his worst season in a red shirt. So I think I agree with you. I think one of them is going to go in the summer. I hope it's not Salah because, as you say, he's that important. Can't replace a guy like that. Mane, however, it might be the time for him to move on because he had a poor season, but he's still a cracking football player. Same with Firmino as well. Another guy who just gets overlooked because he doesn't score as much as a striker, but does a lot for that team as well. So Mo Salah, right. At left, I've went with the sensational Phil Foden. I mean, what a season, what a football player this guy is. He's same age as me and you, just tearing it up. I've got no words, honestly. What a player.
No, what a footballer. I mean, what is he? What 21? He's already got like 7 trophies already. That's ridiculous. To be honest. But no, the guy is some of the goals he scored this season. And the footwork and everything about his play, man. I watched obviously his interview at the end of the game when they lost the trophy and that, and he just doesn't know his favourite position. I think he was talking about that he's sort of starting to like going out in the wide a bit more. But no, what a footballer, honestly. And I don't, he's in there for me, mate, 100%. But I just honestly, I can't wrap my head around. He's 21. He's already got like 7 trophies or something. That's crazy, man.
I know. And saying your point, he doesn't know what his best position is. A cracking football player can literally play anywhere. He could play as a midfielder. He could play as an attacking midfielder, left, right, striker, false nine, whatever. That guy could play anywhere. And I feel that Haaland, Mbappe, Foden is up there now. I feel he's right up there. And if he gets the Champions League, he's going to be talked about with him as the next sort of best. And that's a guy I'll back. Because Phil Foden, when I watch him, he's just unbelievable. Unbelievable footballer.
Oh.
And we agree on that one as well. And the striker, I've got a feeling you're going to go for Patrick Bamford for previous talks in the episode, but for me, it has to be Harry Kane. Again, and how many seasons have we talked about it? It just scores goals all the time. Spurs have underperformed massively at the start of the season, for this season anyway. Start of the season, they were maybe looking like title contenders, beat Man United 6-1 at Old Trafford at one point. But underperformed. Mourinho sacked. Even since then, though, Kane's done the business. And what did they finish with? 23 goals in the season or something like that. So he's going to move on in the summer, probably for Spurs. But what a striker! Just knows when the net is, and that's my team.
I was doing my Robert De Niro face, and that's what I can't even do it now, but I was doing it previously. No, I agree with everything you've just said there. It's got to be, by God, it's Kane. It's got to be Kane. It's got to be Kane in there for me. His goals and his assists, mate. I think he get the golden boot and the assist away as well. So that just shows you. And if he's leaving in the summer and he's going to a club at Man City, the football that they'll be playing, like say him and Foden link up, that's only better for England. So for me, it's a dangerous signing if City take him or whoever takes him, but it will be worth it because the guy just puts the ball in the net, and that's what I like about him as well. That he can actually play as well. He's not just one of these strikers that can put the ball in the net. He can actually play football as well. Him and Sung have had a fantastic partnership. Someone who you maybe could have an honourable mention is Sung as well. He's what a footballer he is. But no, it's got to be, by God, it's Kane. Kane's in there, mate. You thought it was putting Patrick in there. It's got to be Kane.
It's got to be Kane, and that's the team. We good few picks that we didn't have, but a lot similar. Due to, I feel like Salah, Kane, Foden. I feel like they 3 picked themselves in midfield as well. But a few honourable mentions I had before we even talked today. I had Bamford on the paper. Don't worry, Bamford was there. Grealish, I feel, has been great this season as well. Just another guy that I look at and I'm really impressed with how he plays football. And he just, for me, going into the England team and all that, he's undroppable. I feel like you have to play Grealish. I put Declan Rice as an honourable mention as well. Another one for England, youngster, got West Ham European football for a long time, first time in a long time, sorry. Souček as well, I've put him in as an honourable mention. Great season for him, goals-wise as well. And then my other 2 are Ian Atcho for Leicester, another one, unexpected. Maybe could have left Leicester on another season, but double figures in goals for him. And the last one I've put is Rafinha for Leeds. This guy I'd love to see Liverpool go for. So we'll see how that one plays out.
No, Benno. No. It's not happening. No, I just as we're going on honourable mentions, I put the boy for Brighton. What's his name? What's that boy's name? I forgot his name now. Arsenal linked to him.
Oh, but is he a midfielder? Basuma? No, what's his name? Basuma?
I something like that. I went for him. Tillemans as well. I've put Tillemans there. I thought Tillemans has had another good season. As I say, mate, what's his name for Spurs? Højbjerg. I think, honestly, listen, I thought that was a good signing, mate. He's actually put that a bit, but Spurs were missing. They were sort of, as Mourinho called them, soft. He came in and made them a bit more aggressive, a bit more tough, I think, to be honest with you. Undembele's had a good season as well, I feel like, for Spurs. But there's a lot of players you could name off. I think it's been a decent season. Obviously, the main thing it's been missing is the fans in the Premiership. But I had to put my Leeds boys in there, mate. I'm sorry. I just think they've had a good enough season. I thought I'd spice it up a bit. But aye, that's my Premiership, mate. Who's your manager of the season?
Bielsa, personally. I'm not just saying that. Like, he's manager of the season. Although Guardiola won the league, Bielsa's just came up to the Premier League this season and just implemented everything that he had in the Championship onto this team in the Premier League. So, 100%.
I know. See, honestly, another thing for me is I would have to look at Jurgen Klopp as well. For me, I know you could say thing, but to where that squad was and how they were performing and constant injuries, to try and keep them motivated to, you know what I mean, to get finished third, I think that is a underrated thing with Klopp. I know everyone's sort of been hanging with Pep because he was crying at the weekend when he was like, "It's so nice," or whatever.
Yeah.
But that was pretty funny. But I'll tell you who's for me been overhyped and all that. Ancelotti. What has he done? Finished 10th.
Nah.
See
for the fact that you've got Ancelotti and the players at your disposal and you still finish 10th, that is just the most Everton thing ever. Like, they could have any manager and any player in the world and they would still finish 10th. Like, I was expecting big things for them this season, but it never worked out for Everton. Klopp, as you say, you touched on, lost his mother, obviously, throughout the season as well, and he couldn't go to her funeral, so obviously that takes a lot out of you. As a human being, he still has to do his job. Similar with Alisson as well, lost his father during that season, so it's been a tough year for Liverpool as a whole and personal issues and stuff like that. But as you say, to get that team up for finishing third, for where they were nearly looming on about 8th or 9th at one point. And then they had 10 games with 2 draws, could have been victories. Leeds scored in the last minute. Newcastle scored in the last minute, could be victories there, and you could finish second overall. But I think good for Liverpool to get Champions League football. Attracts a lot of players. I've seen Ibrahima Konate is signing from RB Leipzig, another central defender. And Jadon Sancho rumoured as well. It seems like Klopp wants a superstar signing because he's got into the Champions League. So it's going to be an exciting summer.
I have to kill you.
It's still Mbappe season. Don't worry. Still Mbappe season. I just it's one that I don't like thinking about it too much because it just seems so far away. But we can dream. Aye, that's the episode. We've talked about Everton. And if a normal listener, obviously you come here for Rangers content. If you enjoyed it, let us know. It's just a bit of something different. And anything else to touch on before we finish off?
Just before we go, obviously I would mention David Moyes and West Ham, but I just want to mention something else. Make it back to Rangers tonight. There's a documentary on. I slipped my head. I think it's BBC Scotland, and it's about Mark Waters sort of his racial thing that he's experienced up here and things like that. I would recommend every Rangers fan to watch it and educate themselves. I think it's important. I'll be watching it anyway, mate. What about yourself? I know DVR record it, but it's important to watch it. I would say anyway.
Actually, I'm going to upload the podcast and stuff tonight, and then I'm going to watch the Player of the Year awards for Rangers over the past week. I'm going to watch that, and then I'll tune into the Mark Walters thing. I feel like, as you say, very important for everybody to know these kind of things and educate yourself on racism and stuff like that, because it's still a prominent issue that we need to tackle. So in football, there's no place for it. In the world, there's no place for it. And I'll be watching. That's a nice way to round off the episode. So I don't know if we'll be back next week. Depends what happens, because we've literally talked about Everton this season. So we'll see if we've got an episode next week. But
well, that's it.
That's it. I thought you were going to say something there as you were drinking the juice. But that's it. If this
is
the last,
oh,
you were going to burp. It's gone. If this is the last podcast for the season anyway, thanks for everybody who's got behind it, listened to it, followed, tweeted us, and everything. That's the first season doing it. So we'll be back next year to cover Rangers and stuff like that. There'll be videos on our YouTube channel, though we might go over there and just do our content instead of uploading podcasts every week. We might do videos and stuff like that. So if you're interested, we're over there at Every Other Saturday Podcast. And if you like the episode, just subscribe over there, share if you're listening on Spotify, and we'll see you in a wee bit. Cheers.